Hello and welcome to We Got a podcast about Dragon Ball from A to Z, from Earth to Namek to Sadala. We cover it all. I'm Barbie, and this Barbie is introducing a podcast.
So I guess that makes me Ken.
There it is. Yep. Sorry. And I'm Doug.
No,
just summertime beach fun Doug.
There we go. You do beach.
I was totally caught off with that. I just didn't know it was my turn to introduce myself again. Like I haven't been doing this show for 5,000 episodes.
Yeah, usually I go third, and so I'm like, well, I feel like he's pitching it at me, so
tossing it your way here. You did good. My name is actually Randy, but
okay. Just want to make sure.
You can call me Barbie. I'm not going to be upset.
But do not call me Barbie. We're going to have a problem. All right. When I was in elementary school, I went...
Oh, here we go.
In most of elementary school, I was in a class with a girl named Barbie.
Oh,
so you can just imagine. So if you think I'm sitting my butt down in a movie theater to watch this movie... No. Well, first of all, I'm not going to a movie theater. That's not happening.
Not at all. No, never for you.
But I'll check it out on streaming.
Yeah.
Off of someone's Plex.
I'm trying to go sometime soon. I'm just wearing this because I look good in pink. I haven't seen the movie yet.
Well, I have twice, and I can say it's a banger.
Nice.
Anyway, we're the world's strongest under the heavens trio de dangers here every other week to talk your ear off about fights, goofs, and everything else in the Dragon Ball cosmos. Doug, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Can you believe that I've read my first super chapter the other day?
What?
Yeah, believe it or not, I was looking for an SH Figure Arts coupon in a what is it, Psycho Jump or V Jump? A V Jump volume. Yeah. And to get to it, I had to scroll through some pages, and one of the few pages was this manga called Dragon Ball Super. Looks pretty similar to what has been going on in the superhero movie, so nothing new there. But
it's a little bit new.
Not in that chapter.
You didn't enjoy number 18, thinking that Krillin was cheating on her?
Oh, is that what that was? I can't read Japanese. I'm like, what is that?
No, yeah, it's
it was cute to see Marin now, like as a preteen.
The one of the kids who it didn't make sense for her to remain the same size.
Yeah.
And then have a growth spurt, but we'll ignore it.
What are you gonna do?
Sweep that under the rug.
We don't know how children of Jinzo Ningen age, do we?
We don't. Well, I mean, thanks to GT, we might.
Yeah, we'll save this for the number 18 dissection episode. And we'll really get into how her reproductive system works.
How her insides
real
works.
detail. There's been there's some fan manga out there that would...
Okay.
Plenty. I can link you some if you want.
All right, yeah.
Ken, how you doing?
Randy, pick the show back up again.
I'm doing great. I've started playing Oracle of Ages, which they put on Switch.
Oh, yeah.
I sat down on Sunday, I think it was, and I played like half the game in one sitting. It's pretty good. Pretty good game.
I never played those games, but they seem fun.
And I've attempted. Oh, that's it? No Final Fantasy VII updates you want to share?
No, just hasn't. Well, so we've been hosting Tyson, friend of the show. We've been Tyson his and Olympia's dog here. And when I play video games, I get pretty heated sometimes, and my dog doesn't like it. And Kona is a very barky dog, so I didn't want to expose him to that by playing God of War Ragnarok or Final Fantasy
anything
VII.
Gets you excitable?
That would get me excitable. An Oracle of Ages was like a nice, relaxing.
Just imagine
game.
Ken barking and then the dog's barking, and it's just the whole house of just like row, 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 row.
You have no idea.
Cloudu.
You have no idea.
Tifa. Row, row, row. I will love that.
So yeah, I'm juggling 3 games right now, which I never like doing, but
I'm playing Dave the Diver, and I'm still. I don't know if I mentioned that last week, but I'm still playing, still loving. Fantastic game. I'm addicted now.
And Randy, you look. I'm looking at the document here. It looks like you're playing a lot of stuff.
I have been doing a lot of stuff. Last time I talked about playing a little game called Chrono Trigger, and I beat it, so that felt good.
Yeah, it was bad. Huh?
Wow, you beat it.
Awful.
That's a long game.
It's not long. I think it was 12 hours. So
yeah, it's funny to think when you think about an RPG today, you're like, oh, I'm going to invest 100, 200 hours into this thing. But back in the old days, like Earthbound was pretty long, and that felt like it was on the upper end of those kinds of things. But everything else, like Oracle of Ages, this is a Zelda game, and I'll probably end up beating it in under 10 hours.
Wow. Right. Yeah. If you just tell someone now 12 hours is how long an RPG is, they wouldn't like. Is that $10 then? Well, how much is the game?
Yeah.
Well, I only did get 4 of the endings, and I don't know how many there are. There's a bunch, but I could do a New Game Plus. I could do a whole bunch of stuff and see all.
It does offer New Game Plus.
Yeah, it
cool.
Does. So
I have time.
Yeah, so I could do that, but instead I moved on to other things. I started Yakuza 0. I'm a few hours in. I think I'm in chapter 4, which is I'm playing Majima, which is good times.
Ooh.
I cannot wait for you to, first of all, enjoy Yakuza 0. But move on to the later games, because there's so many people who got in on the Yakuza 0 hype train and then like stopped there. And so their impression of Majima is the Yakuza 0 Majima, which is not particularly the Majima that's in the rest of the series.
Really? Yeah. I would think that was me as someone who hasn't played. I've only played Kiwami 1, but I thought everyone did go to 0 as like this is the Majima that everyone loves.
Majima,
but he gets better and more fleshed out. You're saying?
Or worse, and gets very problematic.
Well, yes. My friends out there who play Yakuza 5 know what I'm talking about. But
oh man,
I think
he calls the Mechians by their.
I'm not touching that. I think there needs to be another game in between Yakuza 0 and Yakuza Kiwami, but we'll have that discussion another day.
Wow.
Well, I'm excited too.
Dang, that means I got to get into Kiwami or 0 then.
Do it. It's a good time so far. It's a slow start. It hasn't gripped me yet where I'm like, I gotta play this the second I get home, sort of thing. But
I'm assuming you haven't started the Cabaret Club stuff yet.
No, I haven't, which is what I'm really excited about. Yeah. I look forward to that. But I did take a wee little break a couple of days ago to play this game called Gravity Circuit. It recently came out. I'm not sure if it's on other platforms, if it's just on Steam right now, but if you like Mega Man, specifically like Mega Man X, Mega Man 0, oh boy, you're going to have a good old time, because it's very much like that. It's fast-paced, some story elements in there which are really cool, and like a lot of customization for your character. It's good. Like, look into it. It's cheap. It's an indie game. Man, so good. I don't need a Mega Man 12. Just give me more of this. And then one other quick thing. I randomly decided to rewatch the 23rd Budokai arc of Dragon Ball because we've got Kakarot DLC coming, and you
can't get enough Dragon Ball, so by watching the GTs.
Yeah, I've only read through that part of the manga once, and I'd only seen the anime once. So I was like, well, let's revisit it. So, and guys, I don't think you know this, but it kind of slaps. Like, it's good.
Yeah, kinda, doesn't it? Even by a lot.
I think that arc has 2 of the best drawn episodes in the entire trilogy of Dragon Ball shows.
Yeah,
the fight between Goku and Piccolo, like in the sky, just looks so good.
Where it's the one that starts off with Piccolo and he's in giant form. I think it's a Maeda episode.
It's either Maeda or Sato. Always good stuff.
And then I think it's also the Goku and Tenshinhan fight. As well.
I'm not
100% on that.
Not as good as the 22nd Budokai beginning of Tenshinhan and Goku's fight. That looks great. That one jump spin up in the
where
air
and then goes forward, jumps up in the sky, and then
and then also
I mean an AV using that scene,
hitting him a bunch of times against the wall.
Yeah.
It's good. So if you are itching for more Dragon Ball, despite we're kind of making you watch GT, go watch the 23rd Budokai. Gosh,
well, my roommates asked me like, "Oh, what's a good place? What's some good few episodes to show someone who's getting into the show or wants to get into it?" I'm like, from the beginning. I wouldn't recommend jumping in anywhere but the beginning kind of thing. But yeah.
A grand problem. Just start there.
Just started a grand problem. Let's.
Watch the intro videos to DBZ Sagas.
Sagas? I knew you were going to say
that. And then you're good.
Those creepy smiles. I have nightmares about those creepy smiles.
That's a Shimanuki animation, right?
Big One Piece looking
whoever
faces.
That's what it is. You're right.
Yeah. We'll get into it later of how One Piece is kind of like poison to Dragon Ball, whether it's not in our GT watch through, because there's one name in particular we're going to come across in later episodes. But just maybe we'll devote a whole podcast episode.
Boy, am I glad you guys know the names. They just go over my head so easily.
One Piece is. I love One Piece, but the animators getting used to drawing Oda's style has like destroyed their ability to draw Toriyama.
It's for sure.
Ken, I just put here that you were on the Kanzenshu podcast. Did you betray us and leave?
Well,
did you get permission?
I have. I've been on that podcast longer than I've been on. We got a podcast.
Oh,
so
that's the card you want to play. Okay.
So you're cheating on us as if there's a difference.
All right, listeners, listen to this. It was only after I got banned. Randy's like, I'm going to take advantage in this moment of weakness and snatch him up. So I know I was on the Kanzenshu podcast.
But then you got unbanned.
And rebanned every time.
Every time.
Mike and I talked about a bunch of different modern-ish era Dragon Ball hoaxes, particularly those with visual elements. And those who might know me know that I have made several myself, and it is something
very
I
convincing.
Actually enjoy. And I was telling Mike after we finished recording that when he asked me to be on that podcast, I was like probably the most excited to do that one than any other of.
There was a glimmer in your eye.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun to listen to. So definitely check that out.
It was a good episode. I tuned in. I haven't listened to the Kanzenshu podcast, admittedly, in a bit, but I had to hear my boy, and it was a great episode.
That is one with a lot of visual elements to it, obviously, given the subject matter. So you should definitely watch that one on YouTube rather than just listen to it.
Yeah,
it's good stuff. Speaking of watching, guys, we've been watching some anime here, and
boy, have we!
Yeah, man, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk more Dragon Ball GT. I know we've been going at this for a few weeks, months, whatever, but we're in it, and it's getting good. So, Ken, what's going on in the world of anime?
Go ahead, Ken.
Just 1 second. I have been so excited to talk to you guys about these episodes. I had the time of my life with these 4 episodes. All right. So we're going to get right into it with this recap here. All right.
Okay.
Let's go.
So, Emperor Pilaf, using the Black Star Dragon Balls, accidentally wishes to turn Son Goku into a child. After the wish, the Dragon Balls scatter across the galaxy and must be returned to Earth within 1 year, or else the planet will explode. Goku, Trunks, Pan, and their new robot friend Giru come to planet M2 on their most recent adventure. Giru betrays the group, and the machine mutants that live there are trying to capture the science for Dr. Mew's nefarious purposes. So big picture, like I said, I adored these episodes. I think this is better than that last batch that I said was the best batch we'd watched so far.
With the whip guy and Daltaki.
I think these 4 blow those out of the water. I was so mad for 2 reasons, because the next episode of We Got a Podcast we're doing, spoiler alert, we're not going to be watching GT. We're going to take a week off from GT to cover something else, which we'll talk about at the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
But and I'm like actively mad about that, which is my own fault because I was the one who suggested it. And because I wanted to immediately when I finished episode 22, I'm like, I want to keep watching right now.
Mm-hmm.
and then I was just like, I can't wait to talk to you guys about it. I was so excited. So anyways, what did you guys think?
I had the same reaction where I really did enjoy these episodes, except your last thing you said where I wanted to keep going. I thought we were watching like 5 episodes. So I'm like, I'm on episode 22. I'm in the intro credits. And then I looked through I decided to open up the guideline that you guys have. I'm like, wait, there's no episode 22. Oh, I can stop. I'm done. Yes. I was like, but it was still a good time.
Did you put it off to watch until right before we recorded today, or
some episodes? Yeah, no, I watched majority yesterday, but then I finished up today. Yeah, I'm getting a little better by that. But I watched the next episode preview. Like I took a little pee break, and then I came back. In the background, I could see the next episode preview, and I could see it was the badly drawn stuff. So it's like, I want to end it right here where it was still nice and everything. And oh my god, did the first episode look incredible? Who's the artist? Who's the animator for the first episode?
We'll get to it. Yeah. We got a chance.
Randy, how did you feel about these episodes?
So I thought these were pretty good. The first 2 I wasn't super hot on, other than some action stuff, but the latter half, those last 2 were pretty dang good. I wouldn't say better than that one stitch of like 5 that we had. I still hold that in high regard, but I thought these ones were real good, and I'm excited for where it's going to go. You know, I think it's because this is more part of a big arc versus those other 5, which kind of, you know, they had some story here and there, and then there was like a one-off. So it was like, okay, cool, easily digestible. But now it's like, I can't just judge it on these 4. Like, I gotta judge it on like everything that came before it and where we're going.
The scope is bigger now. It's gonna get bigger.
Exactly.
Yeah. And for the record, when I say really good, I mean really good for GT. I still don't think these are like, you gotta watch these. It's still just like, this isn't crap anymore. So that's where I'm at.
That's good. I mean, we're all having fun, which I think is the best part. You know, I feel like if we decided to do this with Super, some people wouldn't be as enthused.
No.
Okay.
I don't think Super has a 4-episode stretch as good as these 4.
Probably. How many times do we have to fight these dang wolfmen? I don't want to fight these wolfmen anymore.
That's fine. I think the Goku Black stuff is really good all throughout, but maybe that's just my memory. Anyway, we are covering episodes 19 to 22. These episodes aired in Japan August 17th, and by August, I mean July. July 17th.
There you go.
Yeah, these episodes aired July 17th, 1996 to August 21st, 1996. And we're starting with episode 19, Headed for Battle, the Mightiest Mutant, Rild. Rild has arrived to capture the science for Dr. Mew. Trunks is kidnapped, and Pan blasts off to rescue him while Goku battles Rild head-on. As their battle continues on even footing, Rild transforms into Hyper Mega Rild by absorbing the Mega Cannon Sigma. I blame it on Angry Orchard Peach Mango. I'm half a can in.
Not sponsored.
See, I thought about drinking tonight, but I was like, I'm a professional.
Oh, really? So, okay. Next time I'm bringing a big bottle of Jack's and just gonna put down on it. I feel like this is the best series ever.
I feel like Ken saying that makes me not a professional, which makes
you live your life.
It's implying, yeah. It's heavily implying.
If you want
to reading better than I would have read already.
I tell you what, that episode when we talk about 18s, I'll drink on that one. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay. That is the worst idea.
Bust out the dojinshi.
So, Ken, this episode, you ready to cheer?
Yeah, dude, Yamamuro. Come on, man. I mean, it's the guy. Yeah.
Yamamuro.
The king.
I knew it. As I'm watching it, I have no idea who Yamamuro is, but I remember you guys chanting the name. I'm like, it's got to be this guy.
Yeah.
Yamamuro.
The first thing I have written is based Yamamuro. I mean, it's just
so good. If every GT episode was this quality of this level of quality, I think people would hold it in higher regards. Like this would be a much better series. I wouldn't be made fun of as often, but it just doesn't look ever this good as often as it should.
Right. I felt like this episode has just so many iconic illustrations and like frames that are just like, when we advertise GT, this is it. Like these are the shots that we take.
The guys who made the trailers like go to this episode specifically, and so there's so many like still shots too that just look so beautifully drawn that you can tell that they use for like marketing. It's beautiful.
When Rild first arrives on the scene and like the dust is flying everywhere and it's like Pan, Goku, and Trunks and Goku just standing there like confident,
with the hair
blowing everywhere. I'm like,
so beautifully.
Every single shot of Goku in that section is just like, how absolutely badass can we make this child look?
Yeah. And they nail it, man.
I went from going like, all right, time to sit down for some GT, just be like edge of my seat, like, yeah, this is awesome.
My eyes are like, whoa, we're doing this. This looks good.
We're eating good today, fellas, is what my eyes said to each other. So visually, episode looks great. I think we can all agree there. But I'm looking over what happened in this one. The Dragon Balls, they get stolen again because we had them stolen by the Para brothers before, and now was it Rild that came in and took them, or was it Giru? I can't remember who got them.
Probably a combination of both. I forget actually, but yeah. Because then is this the episode where Trunks gets turned into a slab, or no? Is that the next one? This is the one.
Trunks at the same time in front of Pan. Yeah.
Oh right, okay. At the same time, the Dragon Balls get taken away, so maybe it was Giru.
By the way, I'm trying to say Pan now. So that's a thing I'm trying out. So.
The Spanish in me appreciates that because that is the pun.
No one is forcing you. You're welcome to say things however you like.
Yeah. I ain't no dummy,
I'm still saying Pan.
Okay. Says the guy saying Pan.
I was born in Okinawa, all right.
So I have a thought, which was when Rild shows up, they say, oh, this is a key greater than Boo. And I'm like, okay, well, there was like 5 of those. Which one are we talking about?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It just brings back to when the Sigma and Goku's like, whoa, their power is incredible. What's your name? I'm so interested. And then it's like, oh, you're nothing now.
Yeah.
I was unbothered by this because I just loved the Boo name drop.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So actually get a name rather than just, Sugoi Ki.
Yeah, well, just to be like pulling us back into that world because we haven't even seen Boo in this series yet.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
So if you're one of these people who starts at the Red Dragon, then you have no idea who Majin Buu is.
That's true. I like the name drop. I don't like dropping that in there because the comparisons then start, because then we're like, okay, well, how strong was Boo? And I don't want to be doing strength debates in my head.
And it diminishes the new threats. Like, oh, is this guy stronger than Boo now? It's like everyone's just going to be stronger than Boo from now on. So it holds no weight anymore.
Right. I don't want to be doing strength debates. That's all.
Okay, you don't need to because this is 15
I can't help
years
it.
after they fought Boo. So, of course, Goku is his multiplier now, and you do the math, and of course you're way beyond.
But he's a child, and Pan can't transform. So it's like, and Trunks is just Super Saiyan 1. Like,
oh, we should talk about Pan and how the good punch he gives to Rild in the very beginning of the episode. That was such a good one.
That gives me, that echoes back to like when Gohan gets angry, about...
Didn't for me actually, because the moment where she does like the Kamehameha blast or whatever, the final flash looking thing at the Sigma guy, like that felt more impactful and like more that she was sad and angry. This one I don't think earned it enough, if that makes sense. There was not that build up. It was just like hands going in and then boom, a punch because she's mad about something. Because she was mad about someone, Goguru, I think, like Guru betraying her.
I mean, sure, it isn't as emotionally impactful, but I'm just saying, it gives me, reminds me like, oh, this is Gohan's daughter, So.
I get that, yeah.
I feel like there's been a couple of points in this series where it's like, oh, yeah, her lineage and her angry papa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
I wish, I don't think they're going to play up more on that as we go because I definitely, future spoilers, the focus does shift away from Pan.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
But like right now she still kind of really is the main character. Yeah.
Totally.
We've got an A plot and a B plot, and the A plot is Pan going after Gear and Trunks, and then the B plot is Goku just staving off Rild.
Mm-hmm.
Being the tool of like the fighting guy.
Yeah.
It was so funny how like Goku was like, oh, I'm getting like fire. I'm so excited. And then you see Trunks deadpan face, like no interest in the world, is like, yeah, I haven't felt this fired up in a long time. I'm like, are you though? You don't look it. You're saying it.
Now, Doug, how did you feel about your boys back? Nut.
My boy.
He came back.
Nut's back, man.
Oh, Nut came back for a guest appearance coming from the ground, like T-1000 style, and just like holding Goku. I thought when they held Goku, all the Sigmas, I thought Goku was done for. Like, you have him locked in. What else can you do?
He gets killed.
Rill's just going to come up and just like, slice a hole in his chest, but then he transforms.
Oh, speaking of like Goku in a tricky spot when he's Rild has his hand on his face, and then you see Goku and he smirks, and
that
I'm like,
was such a good shot. Yes, that was a great shot. Like this made me like jump up. Like yes, it was so cool.
One thing I noticed, and it was noticeable because it was so good, and it was distractingly good, was how brilliant like every shot in this episode is. The storyboarding was off the charts.
Yeah. Just a really visual tour de force.
Yeah. There's a little instances where there's little facial reactions that are just like split second, but add so much character and charm to the episode. And attention to detail is amazing there.
There's a part of the writing that was an attention to detail that I really liked, that really made it feel like, okay, yeah, they do get Goku, is when they're kind of going over like, here's what the Machine Mutant plan is. And it's like, got this long, like, operation, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And Goku gets like 3 syllables into repeating it. And he's like, I don't know. I can't say that whole thing. Like, yeah, that's Goku. Attention's just gone. Can't remember this whole long thing. That's a little too much.
That I think was uncharacteristic, but I want you guys to disagree with me, is that Goku was like, I want Rill to show his true power. Like I want to fight this guy, which it does seem like Goku's kind of style, but not when Trunks is being like taken away in slab form. But then Goku doesn't worry about that because Pan's going, I guess. But he's just like, show me your true power. That doesn't feel like, that feels more like Vegeta as opposed to Goku. Does that make sense?
I mean, Goku's done it before, where he's let like Frieza get to 100%. He's like, nah, man, I want to beat him.
But that's after everything's like taken care of. Like everyone's off the planet. The Dragon Balls have moved to Earth and everything, but there's still like impending danger. But then I think this part makes sense in a few more episodes when we find out he's actually just been stalling for time because he was in on it. He was in on it, but
he figures it out. He wasn't in on it.
Right. He figures it out. Like we'll get to that. I mean, that was so stupid too. But it just felt really uncharacteristic to Goku there.
I also felt it was weird for in the middle of the fight. I just took this note that says Goku, quote, "You dumb bastard." And I'm like, that doesn't seem like a Goku line.
He's a kid now where he feels like I can say that now.
I'm edgy. Mom isn't around. I can say these bad words.
There was one thing in this episode where Rild says something about like, oh, I guess I've become famous now or something like that. And it was such like a weird character quirk line for him to say that my first thought was, if Team 4-Star ever did like GT Abridged, this would be the thing they would latch onto with him. And like his whole thing would be like, oh, I want to become as famous as Giru or something like that. Yeah.
It's so weird how the whole plan, he reveals the plan that they want to rule the galaxy or take over the galaxy or whatever. But then you see like a few minutes later, Pan going up to the tower and the army is just these like purple Girus that she disposes of easily. Like that's not really imposing force to take over the galaxy, it doesn't seem that level.
Well, maybe to most planets that would be a dangerous force.
I guess so, yeah.
And the Saiyans definitely do seem like a rarity out there in the way that
really throw a wrench in
that Mew treats them. Yeah.
That's why he wants them, because they're indescribably strong.
Is this the ending of this episode? Is this our first Harmony Cell in the series?
Our first? Oh,
what do you mean?
So that's Doug. That's like when they're like, oh, and then it like shifts and it's like painted and
like frame and
sketchier looking.
I think it is.
Yeah,
but maybe something happened earlier. I can't.
Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Majin Buu. Yeah,
this episode felt just like so Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, except the music still sucks. It's still ill placed. Like as they're fighting, it's like a happy tune. It's like, no, give me something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's man. Bad. But
that's the one thing that brought it down.
Yeah, it looked great. It was written well. But yeah, music is kind of like.
Do you think it was an intentional of them to make the Star Wars slap thing to look like the Burger King Pokemon toy? From the
Pokemon
90s
cards,
because now there's a connection between Rild and Daltaki where they both are toy makers, and that's the theory I'm going with. They're all just toy makers. They're all collectors
so lost right now.
So I think what he's talking about is the pewter Dragon Ball figures that Burger King had.
Yeah, I've got some back here.
Yeah, you do have some. Yeah. Isn't that what Trunks turns into?
Well, he turns into like, oh, you mean like Han Solo in Carbonite?
Yeah,
Carbonite.
Yeah. That's the more obvious one, but I'm trying to get the Han Solo. Something about that just felt so cheap. It just like it's so Star Wars that it just kind of takes you out of it. Did it not for you guys?
I liked it.
It is like, it's an moment when you see it. Yeah, because like it's no secret that Toriyama loves Star Wars, right?
Yeah,
I mean, he's talked about
the way he does it is so subtle sometimes, but this was just like this is Star Wars.
It's outrageously explicit. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah,
I just wanted to point out a weird animation quirk towards the end of that fight with Rild. Rild's got like pieces of skin and stuff missing on his face, and like a bunch of bruises and more skin things missing, so you can see like the metal components underneath. And then when it cuts to him powering up, suddenly it's all there. Like he's fine. Like what?
Oh.
It was literally just like a shot of like, I'm gonna power up and my face is all messed up, and Goku like, what? And then and everything is fine. No animation to add it fix it there.
I think that happens sometimes in the next episode too. Like it's just because he can kind of form that on the go.
Yeah, but you'd think they'd show it rather than be like, we did it in between camera cuts. So
that seems more like a error. But it could be shoved off as you can just regenerate that kind of stuff.
Right.
I was wondering like because Rild did like the rocket punch to Goku. I'm wondering if his hand feels pain as he's like like pushing through the dirt and mountains and all that kind of stuff. Does Real's hand feel that kind of pain, or what? Then that starts making me think about like, oh, is it attached? It's not attached to him, so it doesn't hurt him. But it's he's all a robot. Maybe he's a robot mutant, isn't he? So he's some kind of organism.
He's a machine mutant.
We'll save that for our real dissection episode.
Please, yes, yeah. I want to get into that.
Anything else you guys want to talk about 19 before we dive into 20?
You were talking about iconic shots in this episode, and that shot towards the end of Goku is Super Saiyan, and he's just smiling. That's just like,
yep,
I think somebody into my brain.
Somebody either on Twitter or somebody on the Kanzenshuu forums has that as their user picture. So
I was like, I've just seen it so many times.
Probably.
Yep.
Yeah. I could watch GT all day if everything looked like this. God, all day.
It's so like to think of how far Yamamuro has fallen.
Yeah.
Like,
why? What does he do now? What do you mean?
He does Super Dragon Ball Heroes anime, and I mean he did Super, and
did he make like the poster art for like Battle of Gods and stuff? And
yeah, he's done a lot of very like questionable redraws of stuff, or that's like his worst work, I think, is the redraws he's done.
Got to do the Kamehameha pose that is lifeless and the same
everything looks stiff, right? That's him. Oh man,
I think Yamamuro is a fine character designer even today, but I don't think he does not have the edge that he used to, like, at all. He's a shadow of his former self.
Yeah, and I wonder,
he gets too much hate online though.
Right. I mean, when you look back to stuff like this, it's like the guy clearly knows what he's doing. So
yeah,
I feel like, is it age at this point? Is it just apathy, or just like being tired? Like,
it may be
doing this for so long.
Over the years,
change.
I mean, like everyone else moved to One Piece, right? But I don't. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't think he moved to One Piece. I think Yamamuro just became the production art guy for so long,
right?
And maybe just his style irrevocably changed over the years.
Which is so strange, because I believe he did Yo Son Goku and Friends Return, and that looks stellar. And then it was just like 5 years later, Battle of Gods is just so flat and like stiff, and I'm like, oh, come on, man. So
I don't know.
Somewhere
maybe got bogged down by the executives, like, no, we needed to look like this or something like that, or who knows. But
I think he's fine. But
this episode looks so good that going into the next episode, even though that episode looks fine, it doesn't compare at all. Like, it still doesn't feel like, whoa. It just feels like, oh, okay, this is regular.
So Doug, are you talking about episode 20? Astonishing, a tidal wave of metal attacks Goku?
Oh shit!
Goku and Rill's fight continues. Meanwhile, Pan attempts to infiltrate the machine mutant fortress to rescue Trunks, but the security system keeps throwing her back at the building entrance. After many attempts, at the end of her rope, Pan realizes that she's back at square one, but somehow she got their Dragon Balls back. So Studio Carpenter did this episode. They came in towards the end of Dragon Ball Z. They did that. I do believe they did that episode where Goku throws the spirit bomb at Boo. Genki Dama. What the hell did I just say? Throws the Genki Dama at Boo.
You're allowed to say anything you want.
Then you have that part where like the screen shatters and everyone's like, do it.
Do it. Yeah.
I think that's them. They're just a little too angular for my tastes. I would say they're serviceable. The character art quality was a step down this episode, but I still think like the flow of animation and everything was quite good. So
yeah, the fight scenes were a lot more engaging than when Goku fought the Sigma Force guys. Yeah. I almost fell asleep during that fight, like nothing of interest. But this one, it was very engaging.
Yeah, anytime we're zooming in on their faces, particularly Goku and Trunks,
that's when you see it.
I'm like, I don't want to look at these faces.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's fine.
They're weird and off, but not in the cool way that like Studio Cockpit does.
Or not even in like faces. A lovably bad bi bitch Ebisawa way, you know.
Right.
Do Goku's eyes seem further apart than they normally do for both this episode and the previous one? Like, it's just like the character sheets made his eyes like as a kid.
I thought
they see that or no?
Looked closer together in this one.
Closer together?
Yeah.
Nah, you wild, man. You're crazy. There's no way.
So I will say, yes, you were right. Yuji Hakamada was the animation supervisor for this episode and that Z episode where they toss the Genki Dama and defeat Boo.
Yeah.
So
So
right on, Ken.
perfectly serviceable art, but not anything special, I would say, for Studio Carpenter's efforts to this series. So, Doug, I know you had a big problem with the way that the GT English dub had robo filters on voices. So how did you feel when Hyper Mega Rild had the robot filter?
Why did he transform? I must have, like, blinked, and then all of a sudden he's like into a new form. I'm like, I liked your combined form better. Like, what happened? I don't know.
Pan is moving the plot, right? And what's going on with Goku is really just there to be the B plot.
Yeah.
And so I think they were just like, hey, let's just have a fun thing for him to do, to transform. And he
to keep one-upping each other.
Yeah, when he transforms, he yells, Hyper Mega Rild! And then he calls out all of his attacks. So it's just like really silly and goofy. And
he's big on branding, you know? He wants you to know who he is, what form he's in, what attack he's going to use.
But that's part of his wanting to be famous kind of shtick. Like he wants everyone to know his names.
This would be so helpful if he was in any video games to be used.
I knew we were going to move to Silver Ass Rild, but I didn't have any memory that Hyper Mega Rild was so short-lived. I thought we were going to spend more time with him, but he's only around for like 5-10 minutes and he's gone.
That's it. I liked him more than this new form.
Yeah.
This chrome ass looking thing.
Did you guys
I don't know.
Weird spots on his shoulder?
When Pan is trying to get to Giru and that like alarm system's going off and everything's warping around her as it sends her back, did you guys notice how well warped those backgrounds were?
Well, there was one of them that's like, okay, well, this is done by the animation team, not the background art team. But then like after that first one, then it was all background warping. Yeah. Which was very impressive. Like, you know, it was that the painters that are able to do that so well. Were they? I mean, this is 1996. Are they getting into using some of the funky liquify tools? In Photoshop?
Because that was the first thing I noticed was like I didn't see any like digital, aftermath of this. It looked like they painted frame by frame the background changing.
Wow.
Yeah, it was impressive.
Yeah,
maybe that's why they got these guys for this episode. They're like, hold on. They got a knockout background artist who can really do some goofy stuff.
Well, but isn't the background art like different teams?
I honestly was thinking about it while watching this episode. I'm like, how is this handled? Like, to the studios that are handling an episode also do the backgrounds? Is that normal?
I know in the credits it's broken out. They're separate from the animators, like background artists or whatever. So it's interesting.
AJ. Please let us know. AJ probably knows.
Is that not how they always do it in like Z and everything? Like that's a different studio that does the background?
Well, but I think what we're so fascinated by is the fact that the background is animated here as well.
Okay, so it's a lot more time invested.
It's like who's doing that? What's the coordination there?
Yeah.
Speaking
of the background,
about that.
Speaking of the background and the characters being animated and melded, he turns into a planet. Or no, he is the planet now. Rild,
he is
right?
Planet Man.
That was a cool reveal.
This reminds you of something in like Dragon Ball Super, the manga, where I think this like goat guy does that. But
he's not just the planet, but he's basically every machine mutant.
Oh,
that was the way I read it. Was that he all along? He's the planet. He was Mega Cannon.
That's why the Sigma Force guys were able to come back after being dead.
And that's why they can move through the walls because they're all like elements of him.
Interesting.
Now, what about that helper bot that helps Pan up in the tower? To turn off the
defected ones.
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
it's like
we don't know like how shared the sentience is.
Maybe that's why they're defective because they don't meld well with Rild.
Could be.
Yeah,
it was cute how Pam met up with one of the guys and it was like, they're hugging him and like, thank you, you're alive or whatever. It was cute.
We didn't even talk about that reject robot last time.
No,
because it seemed like whatever. That was a cute moment.
Throwaway.
Like, let's move on. But to have him come back, it was like, what like a nice seed they planted to bring him back to have someone to help Pan in here. So.
I wish they would plant more seeds, the things that they reveal, but whatever.
Pan destroys the alarm just by like looking at it.
Does she?
Yeah, there's like the alarm going off and she like looks at it and then it explodes. So I guess
that's a villain move. That's a villain move, Pan. You should watch yourself.
Well, it would technically probably be classified as like a demon clan attack.
Oh,
Goku does stuff like that remember in the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai, he does it when he's fighting Chi-Chi, and then Piccolo's like, that's a demon clan move or something. Or he like punches.
Deep lore.
He punches, and then like the air between pushes Chi-Chi out of the ring.
Chi-Chi out of the ring, yeah.
And then, of course, Pan being Gohan's daughter. So, anyways, there's stuff you can put together. It's probably just looked cool to do that.
He taught her that, when he was she was like 2.
I don't think there may not be any implication that this Piccolo and this Pan have any kind of relationship together.
Right, it doesn't seem that way.
We don't know. We haven't seen that yet. If there is, so
although she's a teenager, she just divides from everyone that she loves. That's an adult figure kind of thing. So it could be plausible.
She's 9.
She's 9.
She's acts like a teenager. Then you know what I mean.
I will say though, her first named attack here, Kamehameha.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's pretty sick.
Is this her first time using it on screen?
I think so. Yeah, because I noticed it too.
Yeah.
Which is after we get Goku's like disrupted Kamehameha, which I loved.
Oh,
him charging that up, and then he the stuff moves around him, and he gets caught off guard and has to.
Yeah. But Pan doesn't successfully get it off, right? Because someone comes last second and disrupts it. Right? She doesn't use the Kamehameha, right?
No, Pan does use it here.
No, she doesn't. She gets interrupted.
No, Goku gets interrupted.
No, Pan does.
Pan does.
Pan is about to shoot it at the I don't know, I forget, but no, I'm pretty sure because I'm like, I was like, it's her first time using it, but she doesn't use it.
All right, I can see Randy. He's checking right now while we vamp.
Yeah, please.
So
she forms a ball, but never unleashes it.
Mew directly addresses the characters as Saiyans here. Is this the first time that they who is telling everyone that they're Saiyans?
I mean, it must be spoiler baby
from Gear's data, or baby might know, but anyways,
it must be Gear's data.
I think this is the first time I heard Mew say that as a plot point, being like, oh, these Saiyans,
right?
But yeah, it could have been in the scans or the battle data.
I think it was in the battle data.
There was a weird frame of animation that got left in. Real,
you saw that too.
Some attack, and then for a split second, Goku flashes on the screen, and what are they subliminal messaging?
I was wondering. I was wondering if that was just Randy's copy that he gave to me that had that, but I wrote down at 20 minutes and 40 seconds. That's when it happens. Yeah, I'm that was so weird.
You at home can check. Are you guys
speaking of checking? I did look it up. And Pan does get interrupted. So he returns on the removal system again.
That's what I'm talking about.
So we had 2 interrupted Kamehamehas in one episode.
It must be.
Now I'm going to look back and see if Goku...
I don't remember Goku getting interrupted. I don't know what you're talking about when Goku got interrupted. I remember him using it the previous episode.
Randy's checking.
Yeah.
He's watching playback.
Rild turns the ground into metal while he's doing it, and then just before he fires it, the trees start sprouting up. And he gets thrown off.
Okay. Yeah, so 2 interrupted.
Wow. I hope that wasn't a trivia question, Senpai. If so, I'm sorry. That's minus points for you.
That is the rules that we've set. Keep stacking those up. 3 more, and you get a free Starbucks drink on us.
Negative points, really? Okay.
3 more. Yeah, negative points are advantage to him.
But this is also kind of like Goku's first real fight in this show.
I would say. Well, no, against the...
Riddick.
Yeah, Riddick.
Oh, I mean, what happened in that fight?
He turned
They became friends.
Yeah.
Kind of let's fight again sometime.
But this is more of a multi-stage, there's advancing in it.
I see what you mean. Yeah,
because he also fought the whip guy, Mochi. Or was it Mochi? I don't remember which one, but...
Mochi. He fought the big baby robot thingy. Oh, is that Mochi? Is that what his name is? And you were just saying that, and I just repeated it? Yeah, I get you.
The whip.
I think it's Mochi.
Not the whip guy, the...
Mochi was the whip guy.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about the big baby robot guy.
That's Lude.
Is the whip, and then Lude is the big...
Oh, that's Lude?
Doug, you watched these episodes.
I don't know these stupid ass names. When they say Lude in the next few episodes, I'm thinking Rild for some reason. I was like, oh, Rild again for some reason.
No,
they're talking about Lude. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Still makes as much sense as when they were talking about it, so it doesn't matter.
Anything else about this tidal wave of metal we want to talk about?
No, I was thinking this episode and the past episode, or the last one we just watched, you really could have made this one episode. Yeah. Everything that happens here. Because
take out the third form of the third reeled form or whatever.
And Pawn keeps getting like pushed back out of the thing, like her adventure. You could have tightened this up a little bit. But having said that, at no point, like I already said, I adored these 4 episodes. At no point was I like, I'm tired of watching this. And I think it ends right before it overstays its welcome, even if though I'm watching this being like, this could have been one episode. We could have done that in one. But I mean, we watched Dragon Ball Z, right? How long did that Goku and Frieza fight go on for? I can take 2 episodes of this. There's enough happening here, and the fighting is fun and kind of like gag-like in not the way that I complained about with the previous episode. It's fun, these episodes.
I like how it gets even gaggier, ladies, in the next episode with Goku.
Oh man! Well, before we jump into what that next episode is, now can we talk about the other thing?
About it, yeah.
So, in the world of anime, it's not an anime.
It's as you can see in the graphic to my left, right here. I had to look over at OBS. Be like, what do we?
I was editing work.
It's a combination of the Jump Pirate and the Toei Cat. So really, it can be anything.
What are you talking about?
Doug doesn't watch the YouTube show. He doesn't. He's never once seen our faces.
It's a little graphic of the Toei Cat, but wearing.
Yeah. No, I know what logos you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about right now. What about them?
It's the logo that I put on the screen when we're talking about the world of anime.
I thought you were already talking about the world of anime, and I'm just like, I missed the whole point. I get you now.
We're building up to nothing that's that exciting. We read, or some of us did, I assume. Doug, did you do any of the required reading?
The extended reading, no. Optional reading.
Ken and I read, is it Alien Pek? Because the Japanese is Peku. So I was just like, is it just Pek?
I think it's Peke. I'd have to look at the icon. It's written out in.
Oh yeah, you're right. Peke. Yeah, I always get K and Ku mixed up with katakana. But this came out August 13th, 1996, and was a 2 chapters, one of a story.
Yeah. So this is Toriyama.
Yes.
2 shot. Can't say it's a 1 shot because it's 2 chapters. This came out in Jump, ran for 2 weeks. Did you already say August 13th, 1996? So right after the episode we came out, the day before the next episode, the first chapter came out on this. And it's just a fun little story. It's Toriyama's first work after Dragon Ball, about like a year and a half after Dragon Ball ended, him going. And Randy, you were mouthing something?
Yeah, I was mouthing Yamcha-sama because Doug unboxed a little Poir doll. And
sorry, I had nothing to contribute to this story, so I decided to open this.
I thought like Randy was trying to like play me off or something.
No, I was waiting until Doug made eye contact with the screen.
Randy, I'm invisible during these segments of me unboxing. You have to focus on your conversation.
Strictly for the YouTube.
This is just yeah.
I gotta keep it in so that way people are at least somewhat in the know of what the hell goes on here.
And it's just a fun little thing about a guy. He's named Peke. And he wants to conquer Earth. And right as he's about to launch his attack, he slips off of his spaceship and he lands on Earth and his ship crashes off somewhere. And then it's 3 months later. And Peke has been trying to get enough money just to survive while he looks for his spaceship and taking odd jobs here and there. It's just silly. Now, unfortunately, Randy, we were not able to really read the whole thing.
No.
There has never been an official English release of this. So there have been 2 groups. Both have translated chapter 1, but ducked out for chapter 2. And I did find a Polish chapter 2 translation, but as far as I know,
do you know Polish?
Speak Polish? No.
The surprise gift.
So, Randy, I assume you did what I did, where we read chapter 1 and then just flipped through chapter 2.
So you would assume incorrectly, because I was like, well, I'm not even going to look at chapter 2 then, because I'm going to get sad that I can't read this.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Toriyama is such a great visual storyteller that you can kind of follow along, especially if you have the context of chapter 1. Now, then towards the end of the chapter, there's, from a visual standpoint, it didn't seem like there was any resolution whatsoever, so I'm a little lost on what happens there. If he just hangs around on Earth or not. So it's fun.
I was just
go ahead.
Thrown off because it's just Piccolo, but with one antenna. That annoyed me.
Oh, see, I wasn't sure. As for someone who didn't read the chapter, I'm like, is Ken doing another hoax? Is this like preparation for he's going to post this on Twitter? And then the next day, like, wow, I can't believe this is an Echo Majin and Piccolo comes back. Because
no, right. But I like your train of thought there, Doug. That's pretty good. It's funny.
The girl who cried wolf.
It's nice to think about like this guy coming in at odds with Jocko or something.
Yep. It's immediately what my brain went to with this guy. I'm like, oh, there's some kind of Jocko-ness to this.
Yeah. He's the kind of character that if, we ever saw Jocko again and he's like arresting someone, I could see Toyotaro being able to pull that kind of a gag and be like, oh, Jocko just happens to be arresting Peke.
Yeah. Anyone, Toyotaro would do it because he loves doing that kind of fan service stuff.
Yeah. And he has already done a lot of pulls from other Toriyama works.
Well, I mean, what is it? I can't remember exactly in Super. Is it like the King of the Universe or the King of like the Galaxy Police or whatever?
The octopus guy?
The octopus guy.
Yeah.
There's a character that looks just like him here.
Yeah, they do reference him.
Yeah.
He
makes a design that looks like this alien when they're like, oh, when I think of an alien, I think of this. And it's like, okay, well, then we use that later. Or
that's the
Toyotaro
alien.
that I can't remember who came up with what there.
It was in minus. So it was a Toriyama.
Oh, okay. You're right. That's right.
1 point for me.
Yeah. And a negative point to Zenpai.
Yeah.
For fun.
All these preemptive negative points for Zenpai. I'm so sorry.
Oh man. So is there anything else you want to say about Alien Peke? It was a neat read. It would have been probably more exciting if I hadn't read something like Jocko, where I was just kind of like, okay, well, I read a better version of this. Sort of thing of an alien fish out of water needs to figure out how to get his ship working or find whatever to do it.
It's just silly. If you can read Polish or Japanese, check it out.
Please translate it for us.
Translate it for us. Yeah. I was hoping oh man, did Herms ever do a text translation of this on the forums?
At least,
but I really could not find anything. So
dang. Well, one day we'll get it in some way, shape,
I'm sure
or form.
Viz will put it out.
I've been doing Duolingo for 2 years. I don't think I could translate it.
You got it, man. Try it. Just give it a shot.
Just give it a go. I'll do a panel and we'll see how that goes. I mean, I'll just have a dictionary so that way I can be like, what is this word? Oh, okay.
Just guess. Use your best judgment. I trust you.
Duolingo has not taught me jet fuel as a word yet, so I assume he's going to need that for his space plane.
Fair enough.
So, want to jump into episode 21, y'all?
Yeah, this is going to be a fun episode to talk about.
This is going to be a good one. So, episode 21, what's this? Goku turned into a metal slab. The battle between Goku and Rild comes to a head as both Goku and Pan are turned into metal slabs and taken to Dr. Mew. After arriving, Giru suddenly unfreezes them from their metal prisons. In the rush to rescue Trunks from his fate, his slab falls and shatters. Trunks is dead. Or is he? Trunks descends the stairs and reveals he and Giru have been working since the beginning to uncover the secret machinations of Dr. Mew.
So before we jump into the actual discussion of this episode, if you look at the document here, you may see a graph that I have inserted.
Ooh.
What a nice graph it is.
It is a very nice graph. So
pretty graphy.
I was just curious, and I was, poking around on the Kanzenshu website, as I do, kanzenshu.com. Check it out. And I was going through the episode guide, and I was like, what are the episode ratings, the rating shares for Dragon Ball GT? Because everyone talks about ratings were falling or whatever, and then that is true. But it's not quite as drastic as maybe you might have thought. But this episode is the lowest rating share episode in the entire Dragon Ball trilogy. So Dragon Ball Z and GT. So rating share is the percentage of households or viewers actually watching TV at that time. So if you have So if you have 100 people who could qualify, but only 75 of them are watching, then that percentage comes out of that 75. So of all the people that could have been watching TV at this time when this episode aired, it was 9.6% of them were watching Dragon Ball GT. And that is the lowest point in GT.
Compared to like the 15 or the 20, 25%.
Yeah, so I have some numbers here. So let's talk about Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball's high was 29.5%, which was episode 47, which is of course, you'd be like, well, why was this the highest rated episode? Because it's the one where Roshi shrinks tiny and sneaks into the bathroom while Bulma's trying to use the toilet.
No.
So, of course, people tuned in for
Nothing else happens in that episode?
People showed up for that one.
They did. They canceled plans. They're like, sorry. I've got
come to my house. Check this episode out. Let's go.
The ratings low is 13.7 in Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z, the high was 27.5 and the low was 12.1. GT, the high is 19.7 and the low is 9.6. Now let's also talk about Super here. So many years later, Super's high is 8.4%.
As high as your voice.
Super's low is 3.5%. So it is important to realize, like, not as many people watch TV anymore. You can get stuff through streaming. So a lot of people or might have been watching the news or something else they couldn't get elsewhere. But I mean, it's
also the whole world was on Dragon Ball at the time of like Z and Dragon Ball. So like to have GT, it's just kind of, it's still that effect. But after Super, after 15 years or whatever, of course, people have fallen off.
And so I will include this graphic here in the episode. I'm going to post it on the screen right now, so you can look at it and see it. And this just kind of will show you arc by arc what the average rating of each arc was as it went through. And it is now off the screen. And hopefully I remember to do that when I'm editing. So it's interesting. I really think numbers numbers don't ever tell you the whole story, but they do tell you a good chunk of it. And just to see how ratings were moving and how they were starting to slip by GT, but throughout GT's like run of 4 arcs,
they're still higher.
Well, I mean, ignore Super in this instance, but it wasn't like the series never had a steep drop off, but it probably also never showed any signs of improving. Mm-hmm. So, just something to think about.
I think you're saying this episode is where people kind of dropped off.
But it could have been for a million reasons. You know, I even tried to look. I Googled August 1996 in Japan.
To see what was going on?
Just to see but I couldn't find anything. But it could have been a million different things. You know,
Ben and Jerry's got a new flavor out. You had to rush and get that.
It's probably too late for the Olympics to have been going on. So, I really don't know what people might have been watching at that time. But there was, for it to be, I mean, it could have been something. So,
could have been. Which is a real shame, because this episode, real strong contender. I mean, the action up front is so good that, man, fighting in a movie theater, gosh, that's great. Like, we don't get to see cool stuff like that as often. Like, this feels like, I don't know, something out of Z Movie 9, where they're at all of the different places. And
Movie 9 or Lord Slug, when they're in like little restaurants or whatever. But it's cool. That was the gag part that I liked about how Goku turned the metallic stuff. Like, he turned on the juice machine against Rild. That was really cool.
It's so fun because Goku is thinking his way through the fight.
Yes. Yeah, that's why. He's thinking with
punch harder, you know? Mm-hmm. And there's like a lot of great movement. And even the part where there's nothing moving, but the way the camera's panning around and you're looking through Rild's point of view as he's looking around, it's just like, I was like, what is he going to see? What is he going to see? You know, I wasn't like, it didn't seem cheap to me that they were doing that. And
I mean, my first note is still that the music still sucks, unfortunately, but I feel like that's every episode we go through now. But
I wanted to point out what we're watching at the movie theater. The title on the poster says like Star Zine or Star Zane. I can't really see. It was very clearly Dragon Quest. Like, I even think it looks like Dragon Quest V's protagonist, something like that. But is it weird to be on M2, a planet of machine mutants, and they've got a movie featuring what appears to be Earthlings?
No, because this planet is this planet made by Baby and them, or is this
no? They did show us the species that lived here before, and they did not look humanoid.
So that must be a relic of a movie that has been there from before.
Yeah, maybe to these people, this was like an alien flick.
Right. Oh, Well,
Yeah.
it was a woman on screen that looked clearly very afraid of like this big furry beast thing.
Like a bat.
Yeah.
So it's like,
you've seen Avatar. They're like, remember when the Sky Lord or whatever his name is? He looked different than the Na'vi, right?
Maybe I don't remember. It's been forever.
It just was cool just to see reeled up against the screen and Goku pointing out like, you look like one of the actors, the bad guy that she's screaming about. It's like, oh yeah, he does. It's so cute.
Which makes you think like, did Goku go to the movie theater?
That's exactly what I was thinking too. I'm like, this confirms that Goku knows what an actor is. Like he's seen
We know he's been to a mall.
Has the knowledge. Yeah. Which like it feels like of course he would see a movie, but I don't know, man. There's a lot of time just training.
Yeah, it's not a lot of
leisure
exercise
time
to be had while watching a movie. So,
But I loved throughout this whole fight, like Goku really has reeled on the ropes.
Yeah.
He's holding his own, and then it's like Pan shows up, and like his granddaughter showing up is what totally turns the tables.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because he gets
Well, she
distracted.
comes in like waving the Dragon Ball. I've got a Dragon Ball. Like I'm over here. It's like, oh no, Pan, no.
yeah, he's no longer gets to fight for his own fun. Now he's like, gotta take care of her. Not like, oh, this sucks, but it's just like, total change of the mode that he's in.
Priority.
Now, Doug, what happens here next is something that Randy and I both latched onto, but I'm interested if you noticed it as well.
Okay.
When Dr. Mew is speaking to Giru, he calls him, T2006, right, is what shows in the subtitles, but he says T2000 let's wind that back.
Go ahead.
T200 Roku, which is Japanese for 6.
Right.
So he does everything else in English, and then he hits Japanese for the 6.
With a Roku.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. No.
200 Roku.
Yeah.
No, I just
Doug, thoughts?
Insert dumb joke about streaming services and Roku and Google Chromecast. That's all I got. No, I didn't. I'm not as well versed as you guys are with the Japanese language and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't pick it. As I read it, I was thinking back to like, oh, Ken and Randy had some conversations about this number for some reason. I don't care, and then moved on. That's as far as I got with it.
Yeah, we did bring something up in Discord. Like
Something about this. I don't know.
Because I put it out. I was like, does anybody know what the deal is with this?
So the only thing I can think is that this would imply that Giru's like a T200 series robot, like
Unit 6.
Unit 6.
Oh, I see
Being
what you're
that,
saying.
like, clearly there's some reason why Dr. Mew uses English for one and Japanese for the other to differentiate. So if I were expert translator Steve Simmons, I would put a little dash in there.
Oh, you think they fucked up?
I would have taken the dash that he puts in Kamehameha. I would have taken that out, and I would have put it in Giru's name.
We're against a dash between the last meh and ha, huh?
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, man, this show is unwatchable. 0 out of 10.
Put it in the trash.
That's what we
I get the
for
GTA
watching
now.
subs on, man.
Watch it dubbed like a real human.
The dash is implied.
No one really does anything to stop Giru from taking like a week to resurrect Goku and Pan.
He's just with the remote control pointing at him, and they're just like, oh no.
And there's like, these are robots with like the barrel of a revolver built into them.
Yeah,
Right?
that we see like a minute later. There's the big purple Giru kind. There's the doctor looking kind, and then Mew. Like any of them could have just run up and grabbed Giru or stopped him or something, but they don't.
So in my head, that didn't take as long as as we saw it take. It was just a quick bzz, bzz.
Yeah. Let's go with that theory.
Yeah. It was for artistic effect to have it last 2 years.
We got to pad out the time, guys, because we got to end this episode at a very specific point. But yeah, he breaks them free, and then it's like, oh, it's just Trunks left. But it doesn't go as planned.
And Trunks finally gets his comeuppance for breaking Piccolo in the Buu arc.
Yeah.
Oh,
It all comes rolling around.
Or
Oh,
does
Ken
man,
was
full circle.
holding on to that grudge.
Mm-hmm. That's what it feels like. That's from
Um,
Loki from Ragnarok. That's what it feels like.
But of course, Trunks was not. It wasn't ever Trunks. Well, I mean, it was for a little bit, but
Right.
Can we talk about how dramatic Trunks like announces like I'm alive and then walking down like
you
four
think he was like
stairs.
Before you see him, you think he was like God. Like you hear the sound of like you think I was dead, but I wasn't. I'm okay. And it's like what?
He could float down, but no, he's distinctly walking down all of these
walking
stairs.
halfway down the stairs and then jumping halfway, as if that made any difference to what he could do.
Right.
You could have jumped from the top one, whatever.
All of this twist was so dumb. As I told you guys before, I had no idea how we were gonna resolve this and find our way to Baby. I really did not know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when this happened, I thought it was so ridiculous until it dawned on me that this is exactly the kind of thing that we should expect from this incarnation of Trunks. This is the kind of stunt he and Goten would have pulled. So I'm like, okay,
you think?
Yeah, it's like really. We talk about like Trunks' characterization throughout Dragon Ball GT, right? Where there's parts where he felt like they were trying to do future Trunks, and there's parts where it felt like a natural extension of where we were with the character from the Buu arc. But I felt like this was Buu arc Trunks coming through here.
Yeah.
Being like, oh, Giru, you heard a rumor about something? Well, let's do this elaborate plan that could really... There's a lot of reasons it could not work out.
A lot of fail points.
Yeah.
We're counting on Goku being able to hold off this dude who I don't know how strong he is, and all this happening. Yeah.
I'm just going to do some vague research. I'm doing something back behind the scenes to find out what's going on. It's so dumb.
I liked it.
There's no, those kind of twists are the ones that you should be able to go back to previous episodes and be like, oh, I can see where they were kind of doing this, but you can't go to any single one. They don't even have a flashback to anything to signify, oh, he did this for this reason to like allow Trunks to go away. Sorry, they did that, but like nothing like like that, like from stuff we've seen before. You know, there's no callbacks. It's just Goku saying like, oh yeah, when you turned into a slab, I knew something was happening. Okay, no, you didn't. There's nothing. It's so dumb. I hate it. I hate it so much.
I totally get why you hate it, but I think it's so goofy and stupid that it comes around for me. That
really,
I'm like, you know what? Like they're trying to do something that Toriyama would do, just not as graceful, right? Like we're talking about like Toriyama flew by the seat of his pants, right? So Trunks being like, there's these two androids you're gonna fight. 19 and 20 show up. We think those are the androids. Trunks comes back, sees 19's head, and is like, what the hell is this, right? And then Toriyama like knew how to twist, and everything like through an arc that is notorious for having editorial mandate, right? Like Toriyama made everything tie together because he's that kind of master. Yeah. This felt like the GT writers trying to do that same thing, but it just like you guys can't fly by the seat of your pants. You need to plan out a little bit.
It's a skill set that just not everyone has.
And there have been things that have felt planned out in this series. Like I'd still argue the stuff they talk about where Baby in the next episode, Baby references building Lude. I'm like, I buy that. I believe that. Yeah. Everything where we're at with this. But so it's like they have that ability to do it, but right here it's just they stumble and it doesn't work.
All it needed was for Pan to just like point out how dumb the twist is and be like, that could have gone wrong so many different ways. Did you think about that Trunks? Like, oh, I don't know. And then
I don't think Pan needs to point it out because if Goku could figure out the thing, it was pretty dumb.
Well, Pan does act like it was the stupidest thing she'd ever heard. She's like, well,
no, she just didn't follow. I don't think she was saying what. She just didn't follow what was happening. She was supposed to be how the audience was supposed to feel like.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to look at Goku like, oh, Goku knew. It was like, no, Goku didn't. I mean, yes, in the show Goku knew, but this stupid plot device, Goku didn't know.
Goku is too busy being well drawn to care about Trunks.
Also, why, on a bigger level, why does Gero betray his machine mutant comrades? They're nothing but nice to him. They give him a Medal of Honor when he comes back with men. They like praise him. Why is he?
Were you in the bathroom for the next episode? Because they do talk about.
Do they?
Yeah.
I'm ready to go into it if you guys are.
Yeah, I am.
Sure.
So Ken, did you want to read what this episode is, or did you want me to read this?
Is there a reason I should or should not want to read?
Sure, go ahead.
Because somebody made a fun little edit to what episode 22's title is.
Oh. Yeah, I'll read that. Sure.
All right, great.
Episode 22. Trunks and the gang are pro-choice. Kill baby.
Now, the episode is actually called Ambitions Exposed, the Evil Life Form Baby. But continue.
Yeah. The Science find Dr. Mew's secret laboratory chamber where he's incubating a new Neo machine mutant, Baby, which Trunks names them the Neo. Anyways,
Yeah.
Trunks reveals he put a stop to Baby's systems and he will die shortly. Mew gets Baby up and running early to defeat the Science. The Science put up a strong fight to take down this new adversary, and it looks like they succeeded. However, Baby latches on to the escaping Mew to continue his own dark schemes. And also, he has a Dragon Ball in his head for some reason.
It was me. I changed the title last minute. That was me.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
I was hoping Randy wouldn't have pointed it out so that Ken would have read it, or one of you would have read it without realizing what you're saying.
I would have had
problem.
an Anchorman moment for sure.
See, that was too much of a Ken move.
I know. That's why I did it.
I love that we're sabotaging each other. That's good podcast energy.
I don't think I have done that for either of you. So maybe it's my turn, and I need to come up with something.
Listen,
That's what he's
before I
saying,
joined
yeah.
the show, I listened to 50 episodes of you sabotaging Doug with trivia. So.
Yes, thank you. So now I'm just getting back at you, Randy.
I'm not sorry. So, man, that half-formed hand thing that Baby has is disturbing. There's like a close-up shot of it. I'm like,
Yes,
I
yeah.
don't like
yeah,
this.
and Baby's like his back moves when he breathes.
Oh yeah.
Like, he's so gross looking. It's awesome.
I guess just to show that he's incomplete, like he's not done yet.
Exactly.
Stick him in the oven more.
Yeah, the timer hasn't dinged. Why is this room so big, and why is there a fake sky in this big room?
As soon as I saw this room, I'm like, this would be so cool in a Chrono Trigger type game. Like if you walk in and like there's like a little mini cutscene, like with the sprites still in there. Like I keep referencing GT as it would be cooler as a Dragon Quest game or Chrono Trigger game. There's so many like scenes.
Wish I was a pixel artist, because I would love to make some of these come to life.
Just imagine walking into this room, pixel art, and like just the bad guy like going up to Baby like, "No, baby, you must live."
So let's do a let's play of that GT game, that transformation game, and we can find out the answer to what this room might look like.
Yeah. Ken, you pointed out that Trunks is the one that names them Neo Machine Mutants, but what is the difference between a Neo Machine Mutant and a regular Machine Mutant? What's the...
Like that's just what he calls Baby. Like it's like this, instead of saying new or like advanced, he just shouts out Neo.
Yeah, so I don't know if he like, I wasn't listening for the Japanese. If he said like Shin Machine Mutant or something, because then that could be a little bit of Steve Simmons
getting his fingers in that
being a
soup.
little liberal with the script there, but
And you know how what we think about liberals.
so it could have been like he's a new
Pro-choice,
kind
Trunks
of
is.
machine mutant, but either way, Trunks. So a series of things I wrote down here was, how does Trunks know all this? LMAO, he just walked in this room for the first time. Oh, okay, Mew just asked. Convenient rumor to have heard.
Literally, Dr. Mew is like, how do you know this? And he doesn't answer him. He just gives him like a roundabout. Like,
I'm not going to tell you.
Sometimes rumors are easily slipped out, aren't they, Giru? Yeah, Giru heard a rumor.
Yeah.
And then Trunks is just like, yeah, so I discovered Baby, and then turned the computer off.
Doug, that's the answer to your question why Giru betrayed everyone. Because
why?
He heard that once Baby was finished, they were going to scrap all the machine mutants. So
I didn't get that.
His betrayal was to actually save his brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't get. I just heard save Goku and company. I didn't hear also the machine mutants.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Oh, I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I love Dragon Ball GT all of a
This is the
sudden.
best series ever, man.
And Trunks' plan wasn't stupid at all.
I should read the super manga now.
Well, I don't like that somebody mentioned that oh man, if baby is finished, she would be so strong. And I'm like, no, don't say that. And Goku's there like, strong, you say? No, now he's gonna save this baby.
It is like this really had a moment of like going back in time to kill Hitler as a baby.
Yes,
because Trunks is just like, there's this infant who, as far as I know, has not done anything wrong. Let's kill him.
Right.
Let's kill this fetus.
That's why it felt so severe. That's when I thought the idea to change the title to Trunks killing a baby.
Yep.
Them feeling okay about it, but this whole thing felt too much like Dr. Gero and Cell. It just felt too similar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and as we've gone along and learned more about Dr. Mew and his appearance and everything, it feels more and more like they were understanding where they were going to go eventually, and that they were like, all right, let's just lean into this then.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like, it's too similar.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just like the Carbonite thing, right? It's like, how can you not look at this and think Dr. Gero or think Star Wars?
I also just hate how Trunks discovers this thing is super strong if it became perfect. So I unplugged the computer. Why don't you blast the damn thing like you did to Cell? You blasted the Cell log.
That wasn't the same Trunks.
Oh, that was different Trunks. You're right, but still the same mental capacity is assuming. But I don't know.
It's been a long time. I think
you just unplug the computer. This baby's gonna die shortly now.
It's been a long time since we had a good long lore drop like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, this made me think of the time when they're all flying to Babidi and Dabura, and Kaioshin's giving like this long story about Boo and Babidi and Bibbidi, and I liked it. I feel like where GT's at now, 22 episodes in, it's earned.
We just had 3 solid episodes of Goku fighting Rild, and it's nice to just suddenly have it like, okay, let's stop, let's establish what's going on,
especially
and where we're going to go from
phase.
Here. Yeah, absolutely. I do like that, you'd brought up before how they kind of tie in the seeds that they've put before, like, oh, we used Lude to get energy from across the galaxy to power Baby, because he's going to be he's the next iPhone, and we need to make sure that he is.
Remember, I pointed out in one of the scenes back then, you could see the DNA of Baby or whatever, like that Dr. Mew was working on.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Pon's little gesturing, her little shadow boxing she was doing.
That is in my notes. I wrote, GT is worth it for Pan's. Just kidding. Shadow boxing, like dancing.
Her and Giru making amends was really great.
It was so great.
Let's get a series with just those two.
No, we're good. But this was great.
Other than the music,
trash. Pan. Just kidding. Gotcha.
It was amusing. Other than the music, why is there triumphant music playing as they're all going to attack Baby before he continues to grow? It's just a strange choice.
This is what it is, right? They ran out of music, right?
And then
they had only like 5 tracks to use, and that's what they had to work with.
And then there's the goofy hijinks music as like Mew as Mew is making his escape. Like, what is happening? What is the tone you're trying to set here?
I hate it so much.
So one of the things that makes me believe the writers at this point, and whoever wrote this episode specifically, kind of knew what they were doing with referencing things and tying things together and setting things up, maybe, is they have Trunks say about Baby, how does one go about creating a monster like this, having never known Cell, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wonder how much does Vegeta tell Trunks about things that happened in the past? Does Trunks ask? Is Vegeta too busy punching?
Super would have us know that they never told him about future Trunks.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, Trunks... Or no, I'm thinking differently. I was like, I think Trunks didn't even know that Vegeta was a prince until like Majin Buu stuff happened, but I think you heard it in passing and told Goten for the first time, like, what my father is? He's actually a prince of Saiyans kind of thing. But
So I thought that was great. That we've had something just like this before, and of course the character that introduced that previous instance would be like, how could someone do such a thing?
Right.
I just thought that was cute.
When Baby infects however you want to say it, Dr. Mew, as he's like going off into space, and he breaks out of his body. First of all, very disturbing. So much so they're like, we're just going to show you the shadow because otherwise it's a little too much. But the writing, then I'm like, well, okay, hold on. Dr. Mew made Baby. No. Baby built Dr. Mew to make Baby and the other mutants.
Yeah, I don't follow.
How? What? Please, Ken, can you explain this?
So when I told you I have like zero idea how we were going to get to Baby, I did remember, I do know the Baby built Mew thing, and I think they're going to touch on it in the future because future spoilers are going to see why Baby was built.
Okay.
So we'll get into they'll get into that, and it will probably never be fully like, yeah, I buy that. but we'll see. Yeah.
Fair.
It just sounds so convoluted. Like, wait, what? How does something that doesn't exist create something to create itself? But then he mentioned that it's like for my resurrection, so meaning he must have been
something
alive before. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I'm fuzzy on all those details too, so it'll be exciting. Yeah.
But why does Mew have a Dragon Ball in his head, and they why, never noticed it?
Giru's got the radar right there.
Yeah.
He could have been like, guys, by the way, he's got one in his noggin.
You need this. Yeah. Oh yeah, that also confirmed to me that when Pan gets Dragon Ball randomly, it like all of a sudden drops in front of her.
Oh,
the shot right before it, it's like the Dragon Ball kind of like going through like a little. We see inside Giru basically, and disgusting inside Giru body of like it's slivering around and like this purple goo, and the Dragon Ball being spit out from it. It's like, was that inside Giru? And then that.
I thought it was just it. They fell onto the floor, and then the walls and everything are just kind of like squishing everything, and it was just kind of.
Nah, Giru gave her the ball, man.
Balls.
Multiple. She just picks up the one just to be like, oh, hey.
To be fair, they were never on Mew's planet before because Dr. Mew was not on M2.
Right.
So they wouldn't have picked up the Dragon Ball radar or sense a Dragon Ball there.
But
they didn't have a whole lot of time when they were on Dr. Mew's planet to be like, oh yeah, by the way, there's also a Dragon Ball here.
But I don't like that they let Dr. Mew go. Like he's like scrambling to his ship, and they're just staring at him. I'm like, aren't you gonna do something? And just letting him take his time, walk in the ship, put his hands in that fucking cockpit thingy, and take off. And
you'd think, if they're willing to kill a baby before it's born, that they'd be like, well, let's kill the old man.
Especially because Trunks' reasoning is like, well, he's no threat now. He can't do anything by himself. And then the next line Dr. Mew says is like, I can create something like Baby in weeks now. Ha ha ha. And then it's like, what is happening?
Well, they got Dragon Balls to get. This isn't about taking out Dr. Mew and Baby.
I understood that. Like, okay, no, yeah. I mean, like, they're not going to kill someone who's not a threat. But like, he has a Dragon Ball. I don't know.
It does seem like they're on a bit of a time crunch now. Like,
I guess we don't know
talking,
how much time has passed. Are they 2 months in? Do they have like 6 weeks to go?
Nah, they're only 2 days in. We're good.
Well, Pan says something to Giru like, we're running out of time or we have to hurry or something like that. And so it seems like suddenly there's more time has passed than maybe we think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spoilers.
I'm curious if they'll ever. I just had one final thought, which was per Kanzenshu's website. Episode 22 is the final episode of the the Dark Dragon Ball arc. Why isn't this part of the Baby arc? Like, I don't understand why all this stuff leading up to it, like, basically once we get to M2. Especially this episode where it's like, here is the bad guy. Like, everybody kind of considers the Cell portion of the Android arc starts with, like, that episode where they're like, hey, we found another time machine. Is this weird? So it's like, why don't we consider...
I think it's more after the fact. I think retrospectively, this would be part of the Baby arc, but not as things are going. It still feels like it's closing up this whole section of Dragon Balls.
I really don't personally, I don't get granular with that kind of stuff, right? Like the Saiyan arc is the whole thing. Frieza starts with the Wukong Hospital.
As soon as Funimation started using the word seasons, I gave up on all that kind of terminology. I'm like,
I'm not even caring about
why
that.
It's seasons. What is this?
Z has 4 arcs. And that's the hill I'll die on.
Yeah, with a lot of sub arcs, but it's just 4 big arcs.
That's why I'm saying, like, if we're gonna separate these two, why separate them and why there?
Hey, you're the one separating them. Randy.
I'm not. There's a website.
There's a
Konzentia.com
website too?
/episode/GT/Dark Dragon Ball ends at 22. So,
And you know what? If you don't like it, you can tweet it Heath at Hugio. Leave Mike alone. He likes Z6. Leave him alone. But Hugio,
you got to post at him.
Hugio on Twitter.
They're not called tweets anymore.
Tweet at him and be like,
post at him. You got time. We don't want to get banned.
Be like, hey, well, what's the deal with the the arc?
So two things. Goku did the face against the glass thing, which is really cute, like he does in the Super Broly movie. I'm like, oh, that's the thing. Of course, this one came first, but you know what I mean. It's still cute to see him do that, crawling up on a spaceship like he does in Super as well when he sees Trunks' spaceship. And there's a missed opportunity of a joke when they're flashing back to Trunks and Gyro making the fake Trunks slab body. All they say was like, oh yeah, it looks pretty good. Ha 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 ha. They could have been like, this motherfucker looks ugly. Ha ha ha. Like Trunks reference. I don't know, but yeah. Just missed opportunities. Oh, and like Baby's eyes when he's in the tube. They're like they're like individual eyes, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, and then as he gets out of the tube, his eyes become like the sunglasses, like Dr. Mew. I'm like, oh, so their eyes are just like those sunglasses things. But then as Dr. Mew gets beaten up, you can see one of his eyes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, are they sunglasses or what are they? Why do they evolve this way to have these sunglasses shaped eyes?
Look, the sun can damage your eyes, so you evolve.
You
to help
sunglasses. Why don't we do that? Yeah, it's genius.
We're not machine mutants.
Baby just looks cool. I'm not gonna think about it.
Yeah, I like it too. And Baby did. Last note is Baby did the dub a favor by just repeating "Sai ya, Sai ya" instead of the 3 syllables, which was mess up Saiyan for the dub.
There is a part where he goes "Sai ya."
The first time he says it, but then I noticed I was like, oh, he said the thing that usually fucks up the dub. But then he just kept repeating "Sai ya, Sai ya."
I was tempted to switch it over to be like, what did they do there? I figure it's probably something like Saiyans, huh? Or just something like that. But
yeah. Or maybe they did like how they did with Majin Buu and he just said Saiyajin in English.
That would have been good.
I really like Baby's voice.
Me too.
And
me too.
Even, because I know what Baby sounds like in English as well. And I'm like, it wasn't bad casting.
I don't remember what Baby sounds like other than
I don't like
he's big.
Baby's English voice. I don't know what you're talking about. Bad is it different casting? What do you mean?
No, I'm saying it's good casting to that part.
In Japanese or in English?
In English. To match the Japanese.
Oh, what I remember is it just being like, ha, 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 like that kind of, I didn't like that.
That's what we just experienced in Japanese.
No, it sounded a lot more sleeker and smoother.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
before we get into that big fight, is there anything else we wanted to go over, or is that it for these episodes?
No, it's great. I wish we were watching more next episode. But
too bad, Ken. You did this to us.
Yeah.
So I would say that next time we're doing GT episodes 23 to 27, but I guess there's this big thing called Sandland happening that we all gotta.
Dude, the marketing on this for Comic-Con has been wild. Like they had like humongous posters and everything up about it, and it's great. Now Sandland, that's a whole volume, right? So it's not. I don't own it, and it's definitely not in the Akira Toriyama history book thingy.
Yeah, it is a whole volume, 13 chapters. $9.99 on Amazon.com.
I guess I got to pick it up then.
Now
you got a tablet right there. You could. I'm
not gonna
Kindle store
digital form. I'm a collector, Randy. I need the actual physical.
I don't want to alarm anyone and create like a shortage of Sandland volumes out there, but the series is only on its 4th printing in 20 years.
Wow.
So I would imagine this is probably going to be hard to pick up. If you care about like physical releases,
I'll wait for the Kanzenban.
Start to. Anyways,
it's
we're in Sandland.
I believe it's in the vault for Shonen Jump. If you subscribe, I believe it's there. Right?
Put it in my cart right now. I need another unboxing for next week.
Well, next week you better have read it before, so it better have been unboxed
during the podcast.
Guys, I'm reading this thing called Sandland. Isn't it cool? Like, yeah, we're talking about chapter 7. Get with it.
Okay.
Is it the Sandland Fall Asleep Plus Melatonin? Is that what I'm looking for?
No.
So we need to take a break and come back, right, Randy?
We do. We need to take a break. And we're going to come back with trivia and other such nonsense. So we'll see you back in just a sec. Okay, we're back to talk about what? Oh, hey.
All right.
Where'd you go?
My buddy Dwight, he lended me. He raised his key so I could latch on to him.
Nice. Perfect.
Why do you keep a Dwight bobblehead?
We can move on.
Desk?
We don't need to.
Yeah.
It's personal.
That's fine. It is personal. So
He bobbles down there a lot, I'm sure.
bobbling away. So first, we got some tweets from all y'all about some stuff. So we put out a question needing your input on when you think GT becomes GT as you know it. And then also, let us know about your thoughts on episodes 19 to 22 if you want. So I'm going to take this first one from Cage, who says, just cut up to where you guys are at last night, and I've realized that this show is way worse than I remembered. I'm really hoping for it to become GT during the baby arc because I'm having a really hard time getting through these episodes. Rilled was kind of cool, though. P.S. My name is pronounced Cage. It is my real given name. Every time I write it, Randy pronounces it Kaige.
Kaige, yeah.
And I always wonder if he thinks it's a Dragon Ball OC name or something. Look, how it goes is that I figured it was some sort of handle name, and you like anime, so I'm reading it how one would read.
Randy
Japanese.
trying not to judge is the most judgmental.
Age, it's all right. Before Randy and I really started talking, he was calling me Kane.
Kane.
It's just something about his Minnesotan accent. You can't help it.
I've tried to not use it at all.
We've got the one, the only, Trevingsley, at Trevingsley. Ooh. It becomes GT once you get to planet M2 in the batch you all did last week, but it might be because of that dub exclusive recap episode that I think that. But at the same time, I think that's where GT finds its groove.
Yeah, I kind of agree that it's once they get to M2 is kind of where it really starts to feel. But here, more specifically, especially that Yamamuro episode.
Yeah, it feels like a bigger part of a story that we're all more familiar with.
Yeah, I mean, I just got done saying before I visited Dwight that it's basically been babies since episode 1, but this is like where it feels like we're done dancing around. And it's go time.
Yeah. It does kind of feel, I guess, like the showrunners are just like, how about this idea? How about this idea? How about this idea? All right, now let's sit down and do a big idea. Like, that's what it kind of feels like. This one's from Jacob Sawyer. I think previously I would have said during this arc, but on this watch through, I feel like episode 12 really gets things going. Though maybe it doesn't fully get its legs under it until about 19 to 22.
So episode 12 is the Oracle of God is super annoying. Lewd maneuvers.
And Jacob, I'm glad you're watching with us. That's pretty cool. I didn't know people would be doing that, but yeah, that's awesome.
This is 2023 is the year of GT. I'm telling you guys,
it's gonna be, man. I'm telling
you,
with the sunglasses away from like the time spent away of GT not being the only thing out there Dragon Ball related. Now there's Super and Heroes. It doesn't seem that bad anymore.
Tyson said while he was out of town, he sped watched the baby arc. So I guess he like binged the whole thing in one night. And it's like, I'm telling you guys, dang. I think this is the time where like Super, if it ever comes back, is a ways away, and people are just kind of being like, what haven't I seen in a while? And are revisiting GT and being like, oh, this isn't god awful like the Tournament of Power.
Yeah.
This is pretty great, actually.
I still hold by it's not great, but it's still serviceable.
I think and it'll be interesting to see like if I feel this way at the end, and if I feel this way after being like divorced from it for a period of time, like recency bias, right?
Right.
I feel like this is blowing Super, the anime, out of the water.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder if for me it's just the not dull, whatever color this is, the dark atmosphere of it is not doing it for me. Where like Super, I think of like light and like green grass. This one I think of like metallic and
we're about to go back to Earth.
Super shiny.
Yeah, we're coming back to Earth soon. So.
Vegeta is going to be the next batch of episodes.
Yeah, man. It's the Vegeta show now.
Nice.
This one is from Lady Xeon versus the Gender Criticals. Says, GT becomes GT from episode 1. Everything I associate with GT, from looking back for unexplored ideas like the nameless Namekian created their own set of Dragon Balls, to its reverence for the franchise's history, bringing back the Pilaf gang, to its dun-dun-dun plot twists. The ultimate Dragon Balls will destroy Earth. to its tone of bringing the humor more forward while maintaining the cool fights is all there from episode 1. And then there's the more superficial elements like Nakatsuru's designs, the new color palette, and Tokunaga's score. GT is GT from beginning to end.
For better or worse. That was my ad lib. Yeah, I agree with that. This all just feels like GT, and it's just consistently good. Not great, not bad.
And this last one,
DUA at Congo Swiss says nothing matters before baby.
This person loves baby.
I feel like that's the kind of attitude where you would put everything before baby as OG Dragon Ball, and then everything after baby as Z, as we did here in America. I feel like that's kind of similarity.
I was actually just kind of poking around Kanzenshu.com as I do, and I went to the translations, and I'm like, show me everything about GT. I just want to look through like all the interviews. And there's an interview in the Dragon Box GT. So this was about 2005 when this was coming out in Japan. And in this Japanese interview, they talk about how when GT came stateside, they skipped the first 16 episodes. And they're like, yeah, I guess they just wanted to get to the action without any kind of stopping from Z. And I'm like, it blew my mind that the Japanese knew the sin we had committed.
Yeah. And just understood.
Yeah. Understood why it was done.
Interesting.
Which is interesting because I remember hearing recounts of at the Resurrection F premiere in LA. Yeah. That they had
like kept up with anything.
Yeah, American the producers were there and they're like, why are there so many people? I didn't know people in America cared about this. Like, you didn't?
Sir.
Like, have you not looked at your financials to be like, how much money were we raking in from Dragon Ball in America?
They just looked at Mexico and how big the numbers are there. And we're like, compared to that, America has nothing.
They heard the reports of what happened with episode 131, and then that's why we got the chanting in the
in the Broly movie.
Gogeta and Broly movie, which I love.
That was so great.
Yeah. It's so good, but that was years before. But yeah, man, GT, we're in it for realsies now. But now we're putting on the brakes for Sandland, and I'm upset about that, Ken. So thank you.
Me too, but it must be done. And let's be
doing this to yourselves.
Let's be perfectly transparent here.
Let's do it.
Baby needs that SEO.
Not Baby the character.
Not Baby.
Us are the babies.
Yeah, we're the baby.
We're the babies. Yeah. So, Sandland's a big deal now. There's a game. There's a movie. So,
and we have access to neither of those. So we're reading the manga.
Yeah.
So we got trivia.
We got trivia, but I'm watching to see how quietly Doug can open this box.
Not quietly at all. I can't even do it by hand. I need scissors.
Well, I guarantee you, I can't hear it on Discord. So great.
It's
in the video version, we'll see it, but won't be able to hear it.
Audio version.
For those of you that can't hear, I like to do little unboxings throughout the show. Just because I always have something.
It distracts the hell out of Randy. Randy's like a cat, and someone is like dangling something in front of it.
I'm trying not to be rude as like Ken's reading his thing. I'm like, let me just do this quietly. Ken can read his thing, and I do this, and then Randy's just like looking at me like
it's an audio podcast, and Randy just like deer in headlights watching Doug open this.
I'm here for the content, and there just happens to be content.
I shouldn't do this on camera anymore.
All right, fine. I will try to do trivia without staring at Doug's video screen.
My goodies.
Trivia provided by friend of the show, Zenpai, who I hope is keeping track of his points, negative or otherwise, because we've taken away or given, however you want to look at it, him points throughout this episode anyway. So, question 1 for Doug and Ken, as usual, raise your hand, say ding, whatever it takes, and I'll call on you, and you get to be the first to answer. Question 1, a mouthful so big, even Goku had difficulty pronouncing it. What is the official name of the Dr. Mew operation that the Dragon Balls were an indispensable part of, according to Rild?
Nah,
homie.
All right. You've both passed on the Total Galaxy Conquest operation.
Now, there is something in the guidebooks that I believe Baby will say later that is like the total sulfurization of the universe. And that's in there. And the Dr. Mew thing is also probably in there. But
is it known that these are like Tuffulians?
Not yet.
Sufurians. Sufuru.
Sufuru.
There you go. Sufurujin.
Look, I got a I got a, what's it called?
An apron.
That's cool.
An apron. Dragon Ball.
All right, Zenpai, you got us on that one.
Good job. 2 points to you because you deceived 2 of them. Next question. In episode 20, what does Pan call the pink defective robot that had helped her back in episode 17?
Oh, she calls it something? Oh. She doesn't call it anything.
No idea.
She calls it the reject scientist.
Oh, that's not a name. But yes, that's fine.
Another 2 points.
Really stepping it up.
Yeah, man. 2 points to you again. So you might be close to being in the positive here. So we'll see how well that goes.
Look at these ice trays. There's one of Frieza's head and one of Goku's head.
So Zenpai is getting points when we don't get it?
Yeah, that's how I'm going to do it now.
Okay. Because that's his only road back.
He needs to make up points.
Yeah, exactly. I had to come up with a way of like, how does he dig himself out of this hole?
Right, okay. I'll allow it.
All right.
I wanted that so bad, Doug. Doug's holding up the doormat and it says, welcome to Kame House.
But yeah. It's still available. Big Bad Toy Store, I think.
No, I thought it was sold out when I looked.
It was. It's back. Now that it's finally not pre-ordered, it's in stock now.
BigBadToyStore.com.
All these are.
Use the coupon code DougStuff. It won't do anything, but you can
Doug's
use
addiction. Yeah, it won't do anything, but
they'll be confused. They're like, who's Doug? And then they'll reach out to him and be like, look, people are going wild for your coupon code that's not real. Question 3. 3? 3. How many times in total was Pan transported outside by the emergency removal system? Ken.
4.
I'm going to say 3.
Doug, you're the winner of that one.
Yeah, that was a wild guess. I was going to go 3, but I'm like, no, I'm going to be bold. I'm going to say 4.
I'm seeing in my head 2, but
twice by the regular emergency removal system and once more by the special emergency removal system for a total of 3.
What's the special one?
The one Giru activates.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, I knew that. I got it.
But he didn't know what the third one technically was.
It's true,
though.
I'm going to say Doug got 3/4 of a point. I'll take 1/4 of a point on that one.
Yeah, Randy, give me 3/4 of a point. Keep track of all this.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Spoiler alert, I ain't keeping a track of anything. Question 4. When calling it out, Dr. Mew truncates Giru's serial number, starting only halfway through it and leaving out the number pun from last episode's trivia. So how does he call it?
That is minus points for Zenpai.
That is minus points for Zenpai. We did talk about it. Just to prove it, what does he call him?
Oh, T200
Roku.
There you go.
-6.
Chromecast.
Fire Stick. Next question. What special feature did Baby incorporate into Dr. Mew?
A Dragon Ball?
Special feature, like to speak German when he speaks in English?
Special feature.
So
give us a hint.
You were pretty dang close there, Ken.
What did you say?
I said a Dragon Ball in his head.
Oh. Was it a...
I mean, he's the only one with facial hair. So, technically...
That's special
Gave him
feature
a
right
rockin'
there.
beard.
Yeah.
It says that's his last line. These sands will die on my planet after I gave Dr. Mew a rockin' beard.
I mean, he gave them the ability to think that he created him.
Baby.
Is it a radar? Did he put a radar in his head? Dragon radar?
Ooh, you're so close.
Power,
so here's
power like 16. He can read power levels.
Okay, so I'm just going to read you what Zenpai has put here. A protection against Dragon Ball detection, similar to the one Pilaf used during the Red Ribbon arc, since Giru was unable to detect the one-star ball inside of him.
No, that doesn't count, because as we established, this is minus 15 points for Zenpai. Because there is never a chance on Mew's planet for them to go like, hey, there's a Dragon Ball here, because they're so occupied with other stuff.
So it doesn't beep?
And Giru is the radar anyway, and he wouldn't tell him.
So unless this is a guidebook thing, Zenpai, and you have to let us know if it is, and then I'll let you take it, because I love me some guidebooks.
But it would make sense as to why the ball was in Dr. Mew the whole time anyway.
If it's not guidebook stuff, I think we have steered into headcanon territory.
Dang.
All right. One other question, and this one,
Zenpai, we do love you though.
It's
so
true.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can't get enough of you. Thank you for everything you do. Your service to this country.
But your points are
minus 32
diminishing.
points.
All right, last one. It's kind of a goofster. Whose drill-based character's transformation was clearly thought up very late in the night by a writing intern who just thought, screw this shit, I'm going home, wrote down the first thing he could think of, and just left the Toei offices for a good night's sleep?
Speaking of headcanon. What? Whose drill power?
Whose drill-based character's transformation? So which character's name was thought up?
Rilled?
Only Rilled was transforming. What do you mean?
Into
Mega, super mega.
Rilled.
Ken gets it.
Yeah.
Hyper mega Rilled.
Super duper Shin Budokai Rilled.
All right.
Another road.
Zenpai, that gained you 32 points back.
Oh.
Because I like the setup on that one.
That's good.
Nice.
I really like that a lot. So I've brought it up a couple of times before. Besides interacting with us on Twitter, sorry, X, you
don't call it. Do not give him the satisfaction.
I mean, I'm sorry. That's like the website now. Like, I don't know what you want me to do.
If you type in twitter.com, it still works.
I'm still waiting for him to say psych and just
like if I type in dizex.org.
Does it still take you to Kanzenshu?
Let's find out.
Hey, another way to get there.
VPN.
We've been plugging them all day.
If that doesn't work, try xvideos.com.
It takes me to dnserrorassist.att.net.
Try xvideos.com.
No, it takes me to the page that's like, hey, click on this to get to Kanzenshu.
Okay, now I typed in daizenshuex.com. Also does not work.
For me, Mike, it does. For me, it does.
For redirects.
It does?
Whoa, it automatically went. Yeah, after I hit DaiZX. Oh, my computer's blacked out now, and I have a virus. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, it's just sitting there and not loading anything if I go to daizenshuex.com. Anyway.
We'll have to consult with Mike before this episode airs.
Absolutely. So, other things that we do. If you listen to this episode on Spotify or any of the episodes, there's always a question and a poll that you can interact with. So that way we can, see fun things. We all have some fun with it. And last episode on our sign out, Ken made a desperate plea. We need more moms. We need more moms listening to our podcast.
Desperate for those moms, man.
We need it. We got a quota.
No shame whatsoever. Just yeah.
And thankfully, we've got some prayers answered. For the question from the previous episode, I'd asked like, oh, hey, is it good that we skipped the first 16 episodes in America? Something to that effect. And user Midnight Queen responded, I think I was 12 when it first aired here and would have loved the first 16 episodes. No grand problem needed, just a grand tour. Also, would like to add that I'm a mom who listens to the podcast. Salute emoji.
I remember Midnight Queen.
The mom.
I followed her on Twitter back when Twitter was a thing. She's cool people.
Yeah. Midnight Queen. Good person, good people. We did it. We're in the mom community, spread it out.
And remember, choosy moms, choose We Got a Podcast.
That's the tagline. Great.
It is. So, yeah, check us out on Spotify there. Otherwise, thank you for listening. We love interacting with you in all ways, shapes, forms, whether you're a mom, a dad, or neither. It's great. We like to talk to you. You can tweet at us, or whatever that verb will be, at We Got a Pod, and you can email us at wegotapod@gmail.com. We're also on Threads at We Got a Pod.
Oh, are we now?
We
Great.
are.
Good.
And ostensibly Instagram, because you got to have one of those in order to get on Threads.
Just comes with the package.
Did anyone threat at us on? Did you threat at us? Did you threat up that thread?
I didn't. Okay. No, I didn't get a chance.
Did you unravel that piece of cloth? Yeah, unspool it. No. Anyway, thank you to Rifti Beats for letting us use his track Kakarot theme hip hop trap remix. You can find that track and other great music by Rifti on his SoundCloud. Ken, where can the good people find you?
You can find me at detectivex.bsky.social. I'm on Blue Sky, baby.
Yeah, baby. And Randy?
It is a slow feed. No one's talking there because Twitter is just too ubiquitous. No one's going anywhere. I know.
I made an account, but I didn't do anything with it either.
You have a Blue Sky too?
Not a Blue Sky. Sorry, I'm talking about Threads.
Oh, okay. I was be like, I didn't get. You two can't be on Blue Sky and leave me hanging. Not that I really want to go, but having the option would be nice.
It's when you log in to Blue Sky. First of all, it has a web client, which is something.
Oh yeah, look, I can't believe Threads doesn't have that.
Threads is coming.
You can't just promise that. You have to have that ready day one.
You cannot save images through Threads.
Can't do that. That bums me out. I threaded at Adam Masseri, who runs Threads, be like, you got to give us this function.
That'll show him. You got him.
Blue Sky has both of those.
Way to corner him.
But when I have Blue Sky up, I forget that it's Blue Sky. It looks that much like Twitter.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess that's the point,
There could be if Elon ever saw Blue Sky, he might have a little actual lawsuit on his hands.
Well, Jack made both, so what do you do? What can you say?
Jack be nimble.
He contributed to Blue Sky. He didn't make it, but
I thought it was all Dorsey, but
all Dorsey all the time.
You can find me on Threads at Saber_Breaker, and also check out the Revolutionary Podcast 210.
And you can find me at your Baz Doug on all the socials, doing my thing.
We are now at the end of the episode. I wanted to let you know Doug has agreed that he's going to start posting his tiki-talkies that he makes. He's going to start posting those on our YouTube channel. You'll find those in the YouTube shorts. So Randy's going to have to hook him up with the login, which is really hard to find when I first got set up with it.
And I also got to figure out which account of Doug's email addresses is tied to his YouTube one. Is it the one called YouTube? Is it?
I'll have to find out because I got banned the first time for my AMVs.
All right. Don't do that to the We Got a Pod.
I called out Nelly Furtado for using the same jingle for one of her songs that Inuyasha does for the ending theme, and I got blocked for that. Just speaking the truth out here.
Nelly.
So, guys, we've broken into the mom community. That is huge. Thank you to everyone who's reached out to your moms, and thank you again, Midnight Queen. Midnight Queen. Thank you. I have a bad short-term memory, especially with human names. Dog names, I can remember for days. People names I'm terrible with. Guys, thanks again for listening. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the whatever. If you see a button that's next to subscribe, just click it. I don't care if it looks like a little ball with a bunch of little nodules on it. Click it anyways. All right, we're gonna get that. We're gonna catch it, and we're gonna make it happen with notifications. Will show up in your inbox or whatever that button does. We'll find out. We'll find out together, and the whole world. And always make sure you review, leave a comment. We read these comments, guys.
We do.
When you leave them, we read them. If it's relevant or interesting, we may read it on the show, as what happened with SSJ Vic. He's going to become SSJ 2 Vic. We gave him that much notoriety by reading his comment on the show, guys.
Nice. So, you angered him? You sent Cell Juniors to his mom's house?
Now, we don't know what triggers Super Saiyan 2.
Okay.
Goku and Vegeta gained it through training, Doug.
Yeah,
that's official guidebook lore.
Well, Goku found his mother in Otherworld, and Cell Juniors went and attacked him. But whatever. Well, we can
Cell Juniors are on Monster Island, and if you would just read Super,
oh my god, this is the real thing? Are you kidding me? Don't even.
And Goten and Trunks go to take care of them.
It's just next to that Dragon Universe or whatever in AF.
No, it's just an island.
It's just an island.
Catch you, Mata, later.
Bye.